come with you with your pretty pom-pom. Now you're working at the movie selling popular corn. I could have been a...
Hey everyone, so I hope you guys are happy because I just turned off my fan, so I'm now going to sweat to death. But today I kind of wanted to do more of a vlog style video. To be honest with you, I just wanted to do some advice and my experience and some tips for high school, because I don't know about you guys, but when I went into high school, I was scared as hell. And now my little sister, it's her first year in high school this year, and I've heard a lot of her friends and just random people saying how nervous they are about high school and how they don't know how it's going to be or how it's going to go. And I just wanted to do a little disclaimer beforehand. I'm not the expert on high school. I definitely was not the most popular person, and I definitely wasn't like the most bullied, nerdy person. My experience isn't going to be what everyone else's was. And these tips and advice is not going to work for every school in every place of the world. This is just my generalized tips, my best advice that I can give based on my experience and my experience itself. So please don't freak out or say, oh, this didn't work in my school. Well, your school might be an exception, or your school mightn't be at all what my school was. So let's just start out with, I went to 2 different high schools. So halfway, exactly like precisely halfway through my high school experience, I moved across the country and went to a completely different type of high school. So I had that kind of mixed experience. So let's just start off from the beginning. My first day of high school, I went into grade 10. I had I was going into high school as a very different state as other people were that were in my grade, because I'd moved across the country that summer, so I was in a brand new town with brand new people who'd went to middle school, elementary school, all that together, and now I was just jumping in my first day. So I showed up my first day in my little Fox t-shirt and like some ripped up skinny jeans and my black flats and a gray purse, and I was like, okay, this is the outfit not to get noticed. So as my mom was driving me to school, she was like, oh my god, like these are gonna be the best years of your life. You're never gonna complain about, oh, sorry, my dog just walked in. She was like, oh, you're never gonna complain about these years. Like these are gonna be the best years of your life. You're gonna get invited to so many parties. You're gonna meet so many new people. It's just gonna be awesome. So that's the mindset I went in to high school with, was, oh my god, this is gonna be the best. Like this is gonna be so awesome. Like this is gonna be fresh. Like I'm gonna beat high school. Like this is gonna be so awesome. Yeah, it didn't really work out that way, as a lot of people who know me know. A lot of people go into high school just imagining that day where you're standing with all of your friends and your principal's making a speech and they're announcing, here comes the graduating class of 2000 blah blah blah, like, and then you all throw up your hats and your grad song plays and everything's wonderful and a Lizzie McGuire moment. Well, you know, you actually have 3 or 4 years between the day you walk through those doors and that moment, and you actually have to fill up those years with something. For my first year of high school, I was very much so an outcast. Like, I didn't have many friends. I dated a 12th grade boy who was really weird, and I started mingling with his friends, but then when we broke up, I was flat on my ass again, did not have any friends, and then about halfway through my freshman year, I'm in Canada, so there's only 10, 11, and 12. So there's freshmen, juniors, and seniors. So halfway through my freshman year, I went to the principal and I was like, you know what, there's no music program in this school. Do you mind if me and these 2 other girls that I knew that were in my grade, they loved music too. So I was like, do you mind if I start up a choir for like the younger students? And he was like, well, if you get a teacher's permission, like I don't really give a shit, because like the school has about 200 people total. Like we don't give a shit. So I ended up starting up a choir, which kind of, with my friends, well, they later became my friends, and that was fun, so it kind of took up some of my time. But other than that, like, that year of high school just sucked for me. Like, I was in a small town. It wasn't like a small town, it was like a suburb of a city, and I went to a high school that had about 200 people that had grown up with each other since day one. Like, it wasn't very opening, like, they weren't very welcoming to me because I wasn't part of this group that had grown up together since they were 3, you know, so that was kind of hard. And then other than that, I just spent a lot of my time watching Gossip Girl, watching YouTube videos, and that's when I started my first YouTube channel, after I'd been obsessing about all these girls on YouTube. So I started up my first YouTube channel, and that was fun. It took up a lot of my time, but then I knew like some people were making fun of me for it, and it didn't work out. Like it made me feel so bad because like I'd already been an outcast to these people, and then they had more reasons to make fun of me, and it just was not fun at all. And that kind of continued into 11th grade with all of the mocking about the YouTube channel. So I just ended up dropping my YouTube channel in like October of 11th grade, just canceled it, deleted it, everything, all traces gone. And then I just continued on with my choir and hanging out with the very, very small group of friends that I had, which I still love to death. These people will be like my truest friends till the day I die. Like, they are awesome. I text them all the time. We are constantly talking on Instagram. Like, I don't know what I'd do without, you know, my few friends that I had in the small town that I lived in, well, the small suburb that I lived in. And then I got some news about November of grade 11 that I would be moving. I wouldn't even be moving to like the next city or anything. Like, I was moving across the country. So I was like, okay, like, what am I doing with my life? So I ended up dropping everything. Like, I ended up quitting choir and that kind of thing. And we ended up moving for the 1st of December in my 11th grade. So I came to the place I'm currently living in, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I remember I wore a little blue sweater and a black skirt with some tights because it was the middle of winter, and some boots, and I was like, okay, I look normal. And put together. Too bad up here, you know, everyone kind of dresses a little casual, really casual. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. People automatically assumed that I was a teacher. Not to mention, I was moving to a school that had over 2,000 students. 2,000 students from grades 10 to 12. So the school basically looked like Hogwarts. I didn't know what anything was, where anything was. I could barely read my schedule. I was walking around trying to basically ask people where all my classes were. And it just like, I stuck out like a sore thumb. Like, people automatically assumed that I was either A, an undercover cop, or B, a substitute teacher. Like, they were just like, what the hell is this bitch? So I started, like, I met a couple of friends that I'd kind of met throughout the years, and I talked to them a bit. But to be honest with you, I actually pulled a few Mean Girls moments where I'd be like eating my lunch in the bathroom, or I'd wouldn't eat lunch at all, and I'd just sit in the library by myself because I didn't know anybody. Like, at all. And that went on for about 2 months. Like, I didn't, like, and it was a huge school, and it was so cliquey. Like, it wasn't like your stereotypical cliques, like, these are the popular girls, and this is the jocks. Like, it was just random cliques. Like, it was just a collection of friends that had known each other for years, and that was the clique. And it was very, very hard to break through because these people had known each other for years, and they were friends. I did meet one friend, and we used to do homework in the library together, but that's about it, every lunch. And then she ended up dropping out of school, so I was kind of left on my own again. And then I started my second semester there because they did a completely different system up here. And I met a few groups of girls in my biology class, and I still know all of them to this day. Hi, Allison. I know you're watching this, so I thought I'd give her a shout out. She was one of the 3 girls that I met in this biology class. And 2 of them I became really good friends with. Allison I didn't become friends with till a bit later. And these 2 girls, they were kind of more... They were more edgy. They were very into the partying scene. So when I found people who would actually want to be friends with me in this huge ass school full of cliques, I was like, hell yeah, like, I don't care what it takes, like, I'm gonna be your friend. And because of that, I ended up failing 2 courses that semester because they just didn't care. So we'd be skipping classes to go down to the river. We'd be skipping classes to just hang out at others' houses. We'd be going to parties and then not going to school the next morning. We'd be hanging out at people's works. Like, it was so carefree that it was really hard to just drag yourself back down to reality, and I ended up just screwing up that whole semester, basically. I barely passed my 2 subjects, and then the other 2 I failed. So it was like, well, I didn't fail, I got a 51, but what am I doing with a 51? And then the other one I just failed outright. So I ended up having to redo those courses the next semester. Me and both of their friendships kind of fell out throughout the summer. And then I came back to the school I'm currently at for my grade 12 year. I'd kind of spent the summer just working and watching YouTube videos and being by myself. So I was very, very antisocial. I'd gone right back into my shell. Like, I didn't have any friends. I had just gotten back to my very awkward, very antisocial with me. Like, I didn't associate with people. People didn't associate with me. It was cool. It was a mutual understanding. And especially since 2 of my courses in my first semester were of the grade below me, I didn't really know anybody, so I was cool with that. I just did my work and moved along with life. And then, so I just kind of let that semester slip by, just went to work, went to school, came home, watched YouTube videos. Went to work, went to school, came home, watched YouTube videos. And I did meet a few friends at my work, and that was fun, and they went to my high school too, so that was just kind of like, whatever. And then I started hanging out with Allison, who I met the previous year in biology. And we became pretty good friends, like, and I started sitting with her friend group at lunch and that kind of thing. So I kind of found a little niche at the high school, so that was fine. And we kind of bonded over our mutual hate of high school, so that was great. And then I just kind of made it through that semester. And then my second semester, I kept hanging out with her. I actually changed jobs, and it just I just pushed myself right through to graduation. Like, it wasn't even, it's like I wanted to be there. It was just like, I have. Not at not one point throughout this whole high school experience did I ever say, oh, I want to go. I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to go see what parties are going on. No. At every single day, I was like, well, I gotta go, or I will fail like it. Like, it wasn't happy, it wasn't, oh, this is great, like, no. It was, I need to do this so that I can succeed. So I just hung out with Allison, and I did my 4 last courses of high school, and I prepared for my graduation, and that was kind of it. Like, it wasn't anything spectacular. My graduation night, I knew like 3 people. Like, it wasn't a big deal. We had the best grad song ever, I Lived by One Republic, but that's about it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I did have my family all cheering for me, so that was fun. And then I didn't go to any grad parties. I didn't go to after grad. I didn't go to safe grad. I didn't go to fun grad. I didn't go to tonight. Is that I came home and I cried because I didn't have parties to go to, and then I ended up going to Shoppers and buying a shit ton of makeup and coming home and drinking. That was my graduation night. So I wouldn't say that, like, high school is going to be the best experience for everyone. I'm definitely not saying that my high school experience was, like, the worst you could ever have. Like, I'm not saying that it was, like, oh my god, like, I would never do it again. Like, it was horrible. It wasn't that bad. Like, I didn't get bullied a lot. I didn't get any. Anyway, so let's move on to some advice / tips for our young ones going into high school. Anyway, my number 1 suggestion would be join clubs, join groups, join everything you can school related. Join sports, join everything. Because the thing is, at the end of your high school experience, you don't want to be sitting there while they're calling off club names and group names and accomplishments and just sit there. You don't. It sucks. I did it. Just join something. I don't care what you're joining, but join it. Like, I know my second high school, we had choirs and bands and pretty much every single group you could possibly imagine, and like, I just missed out on all of that. But I'm not saying like it as nostalgia, like, just I would definitely recommend doing it because it gets you more involved in the school and it makes you more motivated to go. And it's usually only like 1 night a week after school or 1 day at lunchtime, so like, make the time, and it's not a big deal, and no one's gonna make fun of you for it. If not, use my second tip, which is, if someone bullies you, do not ignore it, do not start crying, do not get angry back. Just be a pleasant person back. I'm serious. Like, you might think this is like the weirdest, hardest thing you've ever heard in your life. But like if someone's trying to put you down or bully you or do something that's just bad to you, just be as nice as you can back. Plaster that smile on your face and say, oh, how was your day? How was your summer? How was your Christmas break? Are you doing all right? Do you need some help? Just do whatever you can to be as nice as you can back, because they're gonna get annoyed because they're trying to be an asshole to you. It's not an accident. Don't claim it as an accident. Then you will be a doormat. Just completely ignore the fact that they were trying to be an asshole to you and be nice back, and they will just leave it. Because they will be I would only recommend going to a teacher or going to a parent if it's like if someone is threatening your well-being, if someone is like physically abusing you more than like the just one hit, one punch kind of thing. If someone is actually like seeking out to cause harm to you, like, then that's the time to report it to the police or to a parent. Actually, I wouldn't even recommend reporting it to a parent. Report it to the police or report it to a teacher. That is the time to do that. But up until that point, just be as nice as possible and they will ignore you because they don't give a shit. That brings me into my third tip of high school. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about you, your problems, what you're wearing, what you look like, what you're doing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, and I think that's the biggest misconception with high school, is that every freshman girl gets ready that first day of high school and they're like, oh, did these shoes match with this outfit? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And this might hurt some of your feelings, and I'm sorry if it does, but the thing is, if you are doing a speech that day, don't be nervous, because you know what? Every single other person is either on their phone, sleeping, or just not giving a shit, other than your friends, if you have friends. But other than that, nobody's giving a shit. So why should you even be nervous? The only person actually listening to your speech is your principal or your teacher or whoever's listening to it. That's it. Everyone else is not giving a single shit. The same thing with how you dress in the morning. If you are really worried about how your top matches your skirt, or if you don't think that like your outfit works with the vibe of your school, nobody gives a shit. Except for if you're looking a little too polished, then people might think that like you're a substitute teacher or like a narc or something. But other than that, if you're just looking... If you have one day where you're a little bit overdressed, or one day where you show up wearing sweatpants or a hoodie, nobody cares. No, like, don't pretend you went to a party you didn't go to. Don't pretend that you care about something you don't care about. Don't pretend to know something you don't know. Nobody cares. Because everyone goes into high school wanting to be friends with like the most popular girls and get invited to the best parties, and like, yeah, going to parties is fun and having friends is cool, but like, you don't want to be friends with the most popular girls. They're bitchy, they're self-absorbed, and they're superficial. No offense, but they are. And they're probably the shittiest friends you could possibly have. So yeah, you can get invited to cool parties. Get invited to cool parties with not bitchy. You don't get popular in high school for like being a good person or dressing however you want to dress. That's not how it works. You get popular in high school for dressing the latest, trendiest, sluttiest way you can, for being a big bitch to people other people want to be bitches to, and for sucking a little. That would be my biggest tip, is just forget popularity altogether. Just try and make some good friends and just survive. Because the thing is, high school, you don't want to be the most popular person. You don't want to peak. You don't want to make high school your life, because you don't want to be over-involved. Because then when it ends, you don't know what to do with yourself. And that's why you see popular people ending up working at retail stores and working at dead-end jobs. Because after high school ended, they were so involved in high school that they didn't know what to do with themselves anymore. So make sure that you have things going on outside of high school to round yourself off. To make sure that when high school ends, you don't spend 3 months crying. And that you don't spend 10 years trying to figure out what to do next. That's my biggest tip. Do something other than high school that doesn't make high school. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was very helpful for all of my freshmen, juniors, seniors, sophomores, whatever you are. I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have any other questions, don't be afraid at all to reply to me on Twitter, to direct message me, to message me on YouTube. Wherever you can reach me, because I would love to answer your questions or analyze your situation or give you some advice, because that's what I love to do. Anyway, I'll see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a good one.